our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has initiated a rehabilitation process to revive about 46 abandoned housing projects nationwide. The bank says this will be achieved through a partnership with Shelter Afrique Development Bank, a Pan-African finance institution that exclusively supports the development of the housing and real estate sector in Africa. The FMBN Managing Director Shehu Usman Osidi stated this while hosting the management of Shelter Afrique Development Bank recently in Abuja, noting that the bank had made reviving the housing estate a priority. According to him, the intensified collaboration will help provide construction and mortgage financing to developers in Nigeria. House of Representatives Committee on the National Agency on Food, Drugs Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has suspended the ban on the sale of spirits and alcoholic drinks in sachet and PET bottles until further investigation is conducted. This decision came after a public hearing in Abuja where Representative Regina Akume, the committee chairperson, emphasized the importance of proper procedures and access control to prevent children and youth from accessing these alcoholic products. Regina, in a statement, stressed that the committee's primary concern is ensuring the effectiveness of NAFDAC while also considering employment creation and economic growth. NAFDAC's Director General Professor Mojisola Adeyeye reiterates that the initial ban was implemented to safeguard the health and well-being of vulnerable groups, including children and youth. Nigerian nurses have dragged the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, NMCN, to court over its recent circular for requesting verification of certificates for nurses and midwives to foreign nursing boards or councils. Also joined in the suit as second defendant is the Registrar and Secretary General of the NMCN, Dr. Farouk Umar Abubakar. The circular issued by Farouk on February 7, 2024, has been attracting mixed reactions from stakeholders. The nurses are consequently praying the court to grant a general and aggravated damages of 5 million naira for strict structures and discomfitures. No date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit. Now, the civil society organizations in Edo State have stormed the streets of Benin City, the state capital. The protest followed the current economic hardship currently affecting Nigerians. Members of the CSOs carried various placards such as End Economic Hardship, FG, End the Hunger in Nigeria Now, among many others, to state their grievances. The Benin protest is coming after Ibadan residents protested against economic hardship. Meanwhile, a human rights group identified as the Take It Back movement have hit the streets of Lagos State to protest against the soaring price of food and the high cost of living in the country. This protest was held against the warning issued by the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Adegoke Fayoade. According to him, the police are aware of the plan by some people to protest in the state and will ensure that necessary measures are put in place for the safety of the lives and properties of Lagosians. He stressed that nothing would hinder the free flow of traffic or a peaceful environment to let residents carry out their lawful duties. Now, the defense headquarters have debunked allegations in an online media organization claiming that the Presidential Guards Brigade has been put on high alert following suspicious movements around the seat of power, indicating fear of coup plot. A statement by the Acting Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Tukuru Gusau, stated that the publication also asserts, amongst other things, that a suspicion prompted emergency meeting involving President Bola Tinubu, the Chief of Staff to the President and Commander of the Guards Brigade. The Defense Headquarters categorically states that the allegation is totally false, while calling on relevant security agencies to immediately take appropriate action against the unpatriotic action. Now, the Enugu State Police Command have arrested a 45-year-old man for fraudulently obtaining 18 bags of rice from a businessman to share with indigent people. The suspect, identified as Nnamani Joseph, is said to have on February 14, 2024, gone to the premises of a church in Ogui, Enugu suburb, from where he called a businessman requesting 18 bags of 25 kg rice valued at 400,000 naira for the pretense of wanting to use the same for charity to the church. Confirming the incident, the command spokesperson, DSP Daniel Undukwe, said that the suspect was arrested on February 20th, 2024 at Emene, where he had rebagged and sold 10 bags at Ori Emene Market, Enugu. According to Undukwe, the suspect and his accomplices will be arraigned in court as soon as investigations are concluded, advising Enugu residents, particularly businessmen and women, to always be security conscious to avoid falling prey to fraudsters. Now, the Speaker of Zamfara State House of Assembly, Honorable Bilyaminu Moriki, and 6 other members at a sitting have suspended 16 members of the House who threatened to impeach the Speaker of the House last Thursday. Moving the motion for suspension of the 8 lawmakers, the Majority Leader, Honorable Mohammed Mazawaje, says the members were accused of breaking into offices of the Clerk of the House and Sergeant at Arms and destroyed other things at the Assembly complex. The 6 lawmakers, in their separate presentations at the sitting, also accused some top politicians outside the state of sponsoring the 18 lawmakers to disrupt the good image of the House, as well as that of Governor Dauda Lawal administration. You're watching News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, Forex crisis threatens modular refineries, 25 billion naira daily crude import. We bring you more stories just after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, if you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the News Cycle. Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, has called on the National Assembly not to approve borrowing for recurrent expenditure and dilatory capital expenditure that adds no value to economic growth, wealth creation, and development. Speaking at a press briefing with the Senate Press Corps in Abuja, the executive director of the center, Awal Rafsanjani, decried the growing debt overhang, which he said has largely led to the nation's economic crisis. Kike Lomo Kerina reports.
In exercising their oversight and investigative powers, CISLAC urged federal legislators to urgently investigate movement and spending of loans received by the past administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Tracing a declined situation back to the last 5 years, Rafsanjani noted that by the current year, Nigerian debt profile would have climbed to 107.38 trillion naira from 97.9 trillion naira in 2023. He stated that the major concern is the management of rising public debt and the evident unavailability of details of how the government has spent the huge loan over the years.
Continue to worry us. You recall we've been here severally to draw the attention of the legislators that this kind of all the time that executive will send directive, because what I see is like directing the National Assembly to do that, not even asking them for their approval, because if it is asking them to critique or to look at it in the international interest, the National Assembly members will have known the repercussion, the consequences of continuously borrowing without even respect or without compliance with the fiscal responsibility law that clearly states what loans should be collected for. We cannot be borrowing money just for people to be doing party. We cannot be borrowing money for people to be traveling you know, without any commensurable, benefit to the nation. We cannot be borrowing money for people to simply be stealing, outright stealing the money.
Rafsanjani therefore called for a full-scale investigations into all loans taken by successive governments, especially the $3.4 billion World Bank facility, as reported by the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation in 2020.
From the money that they have borrowed, you know, even the Auditor General had said that many of those monies have been actually cannot be accounted for. I'll give you an example. Nigeria borrowed $3.4 billion to help Nigerians against the COVID. Today, officially, Nigerian government, speaking to Nigerian government, said that those money cannot be accounted for. These are borrowed money. And the worst part of it is that Nigeria is borrowing a lot of money from commercial banks. So this laziness, this ruthless approach to collecting pre-money, easy money, not free money, because it's not free money, you have to pay. Nigerians must pay through their sweat. And some few individuals are collecting this money without cost to putting any developmental project. So if government is telling you that the money government collected is not accounted for, is stolen, so you can see that there's a problem.
The trajectory of revenue from the federal government shows a continuous decline in the past 5 years, with a 45% revenue shortfall in 2018, a 45% shortfall in 2019, 31% in 2020, and 45%, 41%, and 50% in 2021, 2022, and 2023, respectively. Kike Lomo Okere, reporting for Global Television News.
Now, on the foreign scene, the state of Qatar has finally accepted to host the Business and Investment Forum proposed by President Bola Tinubu during his visit slated for March 2nd, 2024 to the Arab country. Qatar took this decision following leaked memo on Saturday, which showed that Qatar declined the proposed investment forum. Given reasons for the decline, the country cited the unavailability of the country's Minister of Commerce and Industry, Mohammed bin Hamad Al Thani. The Embassy of Qatar in Abuja had said there was no agreement between the Arabian country and Nigeria regarding the investment forum. An attack on a mosque in eastern Burkina Faso have killed dozens of Muslims on the same day as another deadly attack on Catholics attending Mass. Soldiers and members of the Volunteers for the Defense of the Fatherland, VDP, a civilian force that supports the military, were also targeted by these hordes, who came in large numbers. At least 15 civilians were killed and 2 others injured during an attack on a Catholic church during Sunday Mass in northern Burkina Faso. A man believed to be an active member of the U.S. Air Force has set himself on fire outside the Israeli embassy in Washington. As media reported, he was protesting the war in Gaza. According to a message on X by the capital's fire department, emergency responders rushed to the scene just before 1 p.m. in response to a call for a person on fire outside the Israeli embassy. They arrived to find that officers from the Secret Service, the U.S. law enforcement agency tasked with protecting U.S. political leaders visiting heads of state and others, had already extinguished the fire. Meanwhile, the man was transported to hospital with critical life-threatening injuries. Japan's moon lander has survived the harsh lunar night, the sunless and freezing equivalent to 2 Earth weeks. The National Space Agency, JAXA, said on X that last night a command was sent to SLIM and the response was received. The craft was put into sleep mode after an awkward landing in January left its solar panels facing the wrong way and unable to generate power. A change in sunlight's direction later allowed it to send pictures back, but it shut down again as lunar night fell. JAXA said at the time that smart lander for investigating moon was not designed for the harsh lunar night. Mauritius has denied a Norwegian cruise ship permission to dock at the capital Port Louis over fears of a potential cholera outbreak on board. At least 15 people on the Norwegian Dawn have been in isolation over suspected illness. Mauritian authorities said the decision to block the ship was taken in order to avoid any health risk. Samples were taken for testing with results expected to be known as soon as possible. A representative of Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings says the passengers developed mild symptoms of a stomach illness during a trip to South Africa, adding that there have been cholera outbreaks in Southern Africa over the last few months, with Zambia being hardest hit. The Indian Railways has ordered an investigation after a freight train traveled for more than 70 kilometers, 43.4 miles, without drivers. Videos shared on social media showed the train zooming past several stations at high speed. Reports say the train ran without a driver from Katwa in Jammu and Kashmir to Hoshiarpur district in Punjab. The Railways says the train was brought to a halt and no one was hurt. The 53-wagon train carrying stone chips was on its way to Punjab from Jammu when it stopped in Katwa for a change in crew. Officials say it began moving down a slope on the railway tracks after the train driver and his assistant got off. Moving on, visitors from China have claimed they were banned from a German military plane at a recent air show, promoting an apology from manufacturer Airbus. The incident allegedly took place at the Singapore Air Show, one of the region's largest exhibitions of commercial and military aviation. The claims have gone viral on Chinese social media, sparking controversy. German officials have yet to comment. Airbus apologized for any inconvenience caused. The incident comes amid increasing European concern of Chinese state access to Western military technology. The president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, last year warned against European technology enhancing China's military capacities. Now let's take a quick look at the business desk. Modular refineries in Nigeria are currently facing the threat of shutting down operations following their inability to access foreign exchange for the purchase of crude oil, a commodity priced in United States dollars. Nigeria has 25 licensed modular refineries with a combined capacity of producing 200,000 barrels of crude oil daily. Although not all of the plants are currently operational, it was gathered that the functional ones were increasingly finding it difficult to purchase crude due to the worsening foreign exchange crisis in the country. The chairman of Northern Elders Forum, Ango Abdullahi, has endorsed the proposed amendment of Nigerian constitution to revert to the parliamentary system of government. Abdullahi gave the endorsement while hosting members of the House of Representatives Parliamentary System Caucus. Global Television had reported the introduction of the constitutional alteration bill seeking to amend the constitution to abolish the presidential system and reintroduce parliamentary system of government in the country. A group of 60 members of the House are pushing the legislation in the National Assembly, and they'll be moving around the country to solicit support for the bill. Nigeria practiced the parliamentary system in the First Republic. And in the world of entertainment, popular Nigerian singer Adekunle Kosoko, professionally called Adekunle Gold, has finally opened up about his battle with sickle cell. The singer stated that he was diagnosed with sickle cell at birth. He paid tribute to sickle cell survivors during his latest stage performance. He expressed gratitude to God for a successful career and global recognition without significant health setbacks. He encouraged those with similar health challenges to remain resilient and determined in pursuing their life goals. Actress and director Amish Kumar has revealed she has Cushing's syndrome caused by an overabundance of the hormone cortisol in her body. She revealed the condition after being swarmed by comments about her face, with fans saying it looked puffier during recent interviews. She has previously spoken about body positivity and said it was important to advocate for self-love and acceptance of the skin you are in. In her initial response, Kumar attributed the change in her appearance to endometriosis. adding that the subsequent crushing diagnosis left her feeling reborn. In sports, Honduras striker Albert Ellis remained in an induced coma after a serious head injury with his French club, Bordeaux, saying it was impossible to comment on his vital signs. Ellis, who is 28, was knocked unconscious just 40 seconds into Saturday's League 2 game against Guingamp when he met a cross and collided with the head of defender Donatien Gomes. Although Gomes recovered quickly, Ellis was treated for several minutes on the pitch before being evacuated to hospital where he underwent surgery. Ellis made his name with Houston in the MLS before moving to Europe in 2020 when he joined Portuguese side Boavista. He moved to Bordeaux in 2021. And that's it on the news cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Don't forget, we're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching, and see you again.